to the February 19th Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues meeting today. And just to let all the viewers know, this meeting will be broadcast live on CTN Cable Channel 16, ATT Channel 99, and online at a2gov.org/watchctn. And for viewers to speak at public comment, please call toll-free 877-853-5247 or 888-788-0099 and enter meeting ID 919-8673-1455. With that, I will now turn it over to Kennedy for the roll call. And upon your name being called, please unmute and say where you are coming from today and also your position. Thank you.
Chair Damon.
Yes. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zach Damon, Chairman, coming from Ann Arbor, again, Washtenaw County.
Vice Chair Keeler.
Vice Chair Keeler, coming from Ward 5, Ann Arbor.
Commissioner Mozak.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kathleen, Commissioner calling in from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Commissioner Solomon.
Matthew Solomon, Commissioner, Ann Arbor, Washtenaw County, USA.
Commissioner Hawkins. Commissioner Gossage. Commissioner Radcliffe.
Hello, this is Commissioner Ratcliffe calling, Rosanita Ratcliffe calling in from Ann Arbor.
Commissioner Packard. Commissioner Chambers.
Elena Chambers, Commissioner calling in from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Buis.
Hi, Lori Buis, Commissioner calling in from Ann Arbor.
Commissioner Enkenbauer.
Hello, Sam Enkenbauer here, Commissioner calling in from Ann Arbor as well.
And Commissioner Conrad.
Hi, Annika Conrad calling from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
And Councilmember Gatsy Edwin.
Hi, everyone. Councilmember Aisha Ghazi Edwin coming from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Perfect. And then before we go forward, I see someone in the chat named iPhone. I'm just going to allow them to speak to see who that is. Commissioner Packard, is that you? Commissioner Packard, is that you?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay. I'll rename you. And Commissioner Packard, can you, we're doing roll call. Can you say you're here and where you're calling from?
Yes, I am here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, calling from here.
Perfect. Thank you. And Zach, we have quorum.
Thank you very much, Kennedy. Thank you, everyone, for those introductions. We'll go ahead and move on to the public comment section of the agenda. Please note that any individual who has done public comment or plans to give public comment today, you have 3 minutes to do so, and Kennedy will let you know when your time is up. Do we have anyone on for public comment?
At this time, we have no one on the phone for public comment. So we have none at this time.
Thank you, Kennedy. Next, I would like to go to the approval of today's agenda. And I just had one quick point. I would like to make a quick amendment to today's agenda if possible. Councilmember Edwin does have to leave a bit early this afternoon. So I was wondering if we could move her report up to her report after the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to do so or any discussion on that at this time?
I'll move Councilmember Ghazi Edwin's report to, when was it? I just want to make sure I get the wording right.
Sure, no problem. I was just going to have her do it after the approval of the minutes before the special presentation.
Then I move to after the minutes.
All right. Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
All right. Thank you, Vice Chairman. All in favor of moving the City Council update to after the approval of the minutes for the meeting today, please unmute and say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, you guys, for the flexibility on that. I do appreciate it. All right. Next, we have the
Yeah,
approval.
thank you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Next, we have the approval of the meeting minutes for January 15th. That should be linked in your agenda. If you have not received any of the meeting minutes, please let us know and we can get you a copy of this time. Otherwise, I would like to open it up to commissioners to approve the January meeting minutes for January 15th. Do we have a motion?
I'll move we approve the minutes for the previous minutes.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chairman. Is there a second?
This is Kathleen. I will second.
Thank you, Kathleen. All in favor of approving the meeting minutes from January 15th, please unmute and say aye.
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 Okay. The meeting minutes are approved. So next, we move on to the City Council update with Aisha Ghazi Edwin. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody. I have somewhere where I have to take my son. So if you see a 3-year-old go flying behind me, that's him. So for updates, I don't have a lot of updates besides the housing list, which some of you may have heard of. So I've been kind of steadily updating you guys on the city creating a database that's similar to Detroit Home Connect in Detroit, where all rental properties would be aggregated. And residents can search based on family size and income and accessibility features. So the city found a vendor. His name is Dominic I think it's Alzalone. And he actually creates the website College Pads, which you guys may have heard of. It's a website that's on a lot of college campuses that aggregates housing for students. So it exists at U of M, but you can only access it with the University of Michigan login. So the city talked to Dominic, and Dominic, has proposed this platform. The criteria haven't been ironed out yet about, what would the search criteria be. But it looks like it is going to move forward, which is great news. I think that last time we talked about this, it was like April, or last time we thought this was really going to happen was April of last year. And I had started a resolution. Rosanita also helped to kind of add some ideas to it. So I'm not sure when this agreement is going to come between, it's called Citywise in the city yet. But I did make clear that I want to propose a resolution that I hope to write in conjunction with you guys. And then I also want to go and talk to the Renters Commission about what kind of criteria do we want to see, what kind of, search fields will have. A few things that I've already kind of made clear is that obviously I want accessibility features to be able to be searchable. I want tenants' rights to be linked to it, at least so they could do that. And also pulling reports on who's getting housing and who's not getting housing, and providing that to city council and to the public. So I don't have a firm date of when this is going to actually come, but I do think it's good to for us to start thinking about a resolution. And then also, some collaboration with renters as well. Any questions?
Yeah, any questions on this? Seems like a very wonderful initiative.
I was
Yeah, I have just a question, and forgive me if this has been addressed already, but are there considerations and plans in progress yet concerning how the information will get updated over time
Yeah.
as features may come and go?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the building department linked up with Dominic, and we have our own inspectors who go and inspect property, and that's updated when they go and they inspect it. But actually, CityWise is going to pay for a full-time staff position who's going to go and get the information on a periodic basis and update the system. Their angle is that, I guess they're going to be charging a small fee. It's $10 a month for landlords to be featured on this database. And I have also said that like affordable housing or public housing, they shouldn't have to pay a fee. So again, these are terms being negotiated between city staff, attorneys, and Dominic. So I don't know how much we have to say, but I think that it's making demands around how public housing is treated, how information is gathered. I think one thing about accessibility is we don't have a standardized way of assessing accessibility beyond the ADA requirements. There might be some tools out there that I'm not familiar with. So it'll be something that, we're really going to have to look into. Dominic did go and meet with Detroit Home Connect and asked about their process, but it's a good question and something that I'll give you guys more information as I hear.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Hi, this is Annika. Since I'm new, I was just wondering if you could share a little bit of the background, like the reason for the project. Obviously, information available, make it more searchable. Just curious.
Yeah. So I'm the previous deputy director of Detroit Disability Power, and which is an organization in Detroit that does a lot of, organizing with people with disabilities, and we worked closely with the city of Detroit. And at that time, my organization helped the city to build Detroit Home Connect, which is this website with these searchable fields. And what they found is, because the majority of people who experience housing insecurity also have disabilities, is that previously when they couldn't see accessibility features, someone would go to a shelter, which wouldn't be accessible. It would exacerbate their disability. They'd finally be put on a wait list. They'd get out. They'd go to a housing unit, and there wouldn't be a ramp going up. And it was like the circular kind of cycle that was happening. And it would exacerbate disability and just housing insecurity. So this idea came up, and it actually really has improved housing outcomes. And so when I first talked to the city about it, they didn't see how it could be possible until this vendor came along. So I think now next step is really the two commissions kind of getting engaged a little bit while realizing this is a big project between IT as well. But there are some things that we can ask for.
So it's really addressing the problem of finding accessible housing.
Yeah. And also, with aggregating all the housing, unless someone weren't to participate, it also levels the playing field. The small mom and pop landlords will be able to have advertising next to big landlords that we predominantly see advertised everywhere. Good question.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
I don't think so. I just want to say thank you, council member, for all your efforts on this. And, please let us know as you hear more information, and then we can discuss sort of, I guess, the appropriate subcommittee or individuals on the commission here that, could possibly help with the resolution. And please, all of you, if there are individuals who are interested in helping with that resolution and reviewing, please let myself know, Kennedy know, and or loop in Ghazi Edwin, and we can go from there.
I think Rosanita has her hand up.
Yep.
Hey, I have a quick question. Detroit Home Connect, it was built with, it said, was it google.org and XG? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
It was like a consulting company that built it and then consulted with us. And there was one other nonprofit that also consulted with them.
Then I guess my question is, why go with them? Why not try something like that with the city as opposed to CityWise, which is a whole different type of company?
Sorry, 1 second. 1 second, honey. That's so cool. It's a good question. My son has a lot of words about it. So actually, I guess what's happening is, well, the vendor that does Detroit charges them a lot. I don't know all the details. And Dominic went and met with the city, and actually now they're transitioning over to Citywise. So I can't answer all the questions, but I think that staff could, especially the IT department and potentially the attorney, the attorney's office. That was really kind of an internal city decision, but was something that was, I kept encouraging, we need this. But I can't tell you specifics about why they went after one vendor over the other. But one is Citywise really came to us and said, like, this is mostly going to be free for us. And also, Rosanne and I do want to make sure that we get this in front of renters. So as this, agreement between the attorney's office and Dominic is being worked on, I think Dominic coming to the Renters Commission meeting, as well as myself and maybe someone from Kodai, if you want to, would be a good idea.
Right. So I think April is the month that we don't have anyone coming right now. But I have to check again with our tenant education committee, because that's kind of how we're going about what we're scheduling when.
Sure. Okay. I can reach out and we can then just schedule it and go from there. And again, I don't have a date about when some sort of agreement is coming, but I'll let the city administrator know that we want some commission input.
Oh, you can't see me nodding, sorry.
No.
Okay, sounds good. My kid is wearing my high heels in the background, so I'm gonna go.
All right, thank you, Councilman.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you, folks, for that. I do appreciate it. Next, we're going to move on to the special presentation portion of our meeting. And, I'm very excited, and thank you so much for being patient with us this afternoon. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Oh, there we are. I was trying to make sure I could see you, Tess. But I'd like to introduce, and pardon me if I Miss Boop, how do you pronounce your last name? Do you mind if you unmute and just let me know?
Karachner.
All right, thank you. So I would like to introduce Tess Karachner of the Accessible Futures Lab with the University of Michigan, doing a lot of great work there. And just thank you so much for joining us. It is a privilege and a pleasure. So thank you so much. The floor is yours.
All right, hello. Like Zach said, my name is Tess Karachner. I work for the Digital Accessible Futures Lab at U of M, which is in the Digital Studies Institute. And then I'm also a fourth-year Bachelor's of Science in Nursing student. And I'll be starting my PhD next year in also disability justice and nursing focus. I'm going to be talking about a group that I lead at the School of Nursing and at U of M more broadly, called Disability Justice at Michigan. And I just wanted to, thank Kodai for inviting me. I'm excited to share. So when I came to nursing school, we'll start with the objectives of DGM. So Disability Justice at Michigan is not only a student group, but a broader community group. We have students, it started with mostly students from nursing, but it grew to be students from other health science groups and then just students in general. And we also have had community members, some of them also college-age students, but all the way up to we had a member who's in their 90s joining meetings. So our objectives are to provide opportunities to engage with disability health equity and disability culture education, provide a social network for disabled, deaf, neurodivergent, or chronically ill students to know each other, to know about the resources on campus, and to relate to each other. To connect students with opportunities to represent the disability community in their respective professions, whether that be through internships, summer opportunities, jobs, and then also to raise awareness for policy affecting the disability community, whether that be university policy, all the way up until like advocating for national policy. So I went to nursing school because I have a disability myself, and I also grew up in a very interabled family. I was very interested in the way that people with disabilities are treated in like a social way when they go to the doctor, and when they interact with the healthcare system more broadly. Um, However, when I looked into different things to study in college, I did not find a lot of information on nurses with disabilities. In fact, the first thing that came up was a study about um, students with my diagnosis and the finding of pervasive academic underachievement. And I was like, oh, that can't be our Google representation, right? We need to come up with some other representation. So um, I came to nursing school. I wanted to focus on caring for patients with lifelong disability, and I found that there was a gap in that curriculum and that I wasn't really learning how to do certain procedures or certain assessments on people who aren't represented in, nursing textbooks, like the quote unquote typical patient. So I met with the chief DEI officer, who is now the assistant dean for strategic education, Dr. Rushika Patel, and she encouraged me to start a club. So like I said, started with nursing majors and really ended up spreading. And that's why, we started as Disability Nursing Association, but now we're Disability Justice at Michigan. So disability education, I would say, is most of what we do. We've done a couple of book clubs as well as a film series that stretched a whole semester long. And during this film club, we collaborated with pretty much every other disability-related group on campus. We've also been very lucky to be supported by the School of Nursing in inviting lecturers who focus on disability in their research and often have disabilities themselves. So Dr. Beth Marks is a deaf nurse who is really focused on health promotion for people with intellectual and developmental disability. Mary Milkey is one of Michigan Medicine's own nurse midwives who runs the OBGYN clinic for people with disabilities. Dr. Sabrina Jamaluddin, another disabled nurse. Judy Human was amazing to host my freshman year. And then Dr. Christina Nicolaitis, who works closely with the autistic population to co-design tools for facilitating effective communication between autistic people and their healthcare providers. So mostly education in here. We have a picture here of a small book cart with about 15 books on it. This is our little anti-ableist library, which was funded through a DEI seed grant at the School of Nursing. So we have books mostly by authors with disabilities talking about disability identity, disability culture, and how that interacts with the healthcare environment. And this is a permanent part of the nursing school. It is located in the basement. It also has a couple like printed like academic articles to kept again mostly by disabled researchers focusing on advancing health equity. And then there's a little bubble here on the right that says Nursing 232 and Nursing 238. These are foundational required classes that every nursing major at the University of Michigan takes. Now, in both of these classes, because of the work of DJAM, we have curriculum that is taught every year about how to care for patients with cerebral palsy, patients who are blind, low vision, deaf, hard of hearing, and on the spectrum. So that's very exciting. They also use a narrative anthology that was built by disabled University of Michigan students, 3 of whom are in DJAM, to teach in a culture of health class. In terms of culture, this has been really fun, especially because a lot of our members hadn't grown up around a lot of like disability cultural communities. I grew up in Ann Arbor, so I was able to be a part of adaptive sports and lots of stuff like that. And it's been really exciting to share that. Like I mentioned, lots of films and books, but we also attended what's now the most attended wheelchair basketball game in history at the Chrysler Center this past week. We have gone to drop-in wheelchair basketball clinics. Like I mentioned, the Disability Culture Anthology was an opportunity for students to have their stories told in print and distributed across the country and be compensated for their art, and also for students to be featured on an open access anthology website. We had a disability and neurodiversity party across all 3 campuses where students using accommodations or, or not, just anyone who identifies as having a disability were able to meet up, learn about a variety of social clubs on all 3 campuses, and of course the SSD services. That was held in collaboration with the Digital Accessible Futures Lab, most of which is led by professors with disabilities themselves, which I think is a really exciting thing as a student to see someone and who's like in the highest academic standing of university and has a disability. And then lastly, and I'll bring this up later too in the bottom left, the Disability Day of Mourning. This is an annual event started by the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network to memorialize people with disabilities who are, experiencing violence and die as a result of that violence. It was started after a pattern of watching media coverage of deaths of autistic people being covered in an unfair way. And so we also collaborate each year to hold that event on the Diag. There's also a picture on this slide of about 6 people standing in front of the United States Paralympics team logo. We had a Paralympics watch party this year, and we're excited to celebrate and watch U of M Paralympic players. So that's kind of our disability culture. For social networking collaborations, I mentioned we rely and work a lot with a couple nursing groups like LGBTQ plus nursing and COPE, which is a mental health group, and then also the variety of other disability groups on campus. I started DGM my freshman year, and there was 1, maybe 2 groups, and now there's like 5 or 6, so that's super exciting. And a lot of them are popping up in health sciences, which is really cool because there's a lot of stigma and sometimes like literal policy barriers, like technical standards that keep people with disabilities out of the profession of nursing, pre-med, any sort of clinical profession. So Drive, which is from kinesiology, DAC-HP, which is a pre-med group, bioethics, and then some of the learning communities like Michigan Community Scholars Program have reached out and we've had programming with them. And then also Medical Students for Disability Health and Advocacy, of course. One thing too is that we know a lot of people who require accommodations might not be offered the same accessible internship experiences, opportunities for collaborating on publications, things like that. So we've really done a lot of research into what students with disabilities, like what places are operating for them, and recommending those programs to them, helping them with applications. Helping make connections with people who have already been through those programs. So some of those include the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network's ACI program, of which I'm an alumni. Same with M-Disability, which is an internship for disabled healthcare workers at U of M. The Center for Disability Health and Wellness, we've connected people there. We have a couple members who are on now the new Sweetland Student Advisory Board, which is exciting. Docs with Disabilities, Access and Nursing, those are both research groups that do a lot of important benchmarking data on students with disabilities. And then we've actually been reached out to a couple times by the Michigan Daily asking for disabled perspectives on important things happening on campus. So it's very exciting to make those connections for people and see what comes out of it. I do believe that DGM has helped people to, believe that there is a way to focus their career on disability health by connecting them with these programs. And then lastly, policy. So obviously with 14C, the sub-minimum wage law, we've been involved in email about that. Same with the CDC and disability data. This was an effort mostly led from Bonnie Lynn Sweener out of Johns Hopkins, but we wanted to ensure that funding for vital programs stays more consistent by collecting data on people with disabilities in a way that doesn't diminish our sort of like representation. And then Like I mentioned, A2 public transportation, when that big survey went out, we were involved in that, trying to challenge the technical standards at the School of Nursing is something we've been a part of. That is sort of happening slowly at nursing schools over the nation, across the nation, and we do believe we've like provided some good education on that, but we're still waiting. Obviously, the Disability Cultural Center, it's a long haul, it's a fight, but we're proud to be a part of it. And then obviously we have our work cut out for us, and we will be continuing with our policy advocacy. So that is kind of all I have to say about disability justice at Michigan. As I mentioned, our Disability Day of Mourning, it's March 1st each year, but we're holding ours on the 28th from 4 to 5 p.m. in the Diag. We'll have ASL interpretation and cart, as well as seating as well. So yeah, thank you so much. And let me know if you have any questions. My contact and our Instagram is on the slide.
Commissioner Milzak? I'm sorry, Commissioner Radcliffe.
Well, Commissioner Damon had his hand up before mine. Okay. Um,
Go ahead, Commissioner
okay.
Radcliffe.
What day was that? That was my first question.
Oh yeah, so Friday, February 28th at
Okay.
4 to 5 p.m.
Okay, and really, I just part of it is I just wanted to say thank you for all that you've done for the disability community at U of M. When I was in college in another state, we had nothing like this, and you know, my aunt was a nurse who had a disability back in like the 60s and 70s, and you know, just thinking about how different things are now because of the students like you, like it just it's something to see. Um, but my real question though really is because of how things are moving along in terms of what's happening at the federal level, do you see any roadblocks coming up for this particular network at U of M, or assistance that's needed from Kodai and the outside?
Yeah, thank you so much, Commissioner Radcliffe. It's really cool to hear about your aunt as well. Yeah, I would say DJAM is a pretty it's a unique club. I think pretty much all of our members who have been consistently there throughout the years are like products of Section 504 and having access to accommodations, and that is what has helped them get to U of M and get to nursing school. So I do worry about enough students kind of down the line having the opportunity to come to college and having the supports to do so. In the short term, though, I think we are a smaller club. A lot of the disability identity focused clubs at U of M are smaller, and any way that we can like get the word out more that we exist, I think is an opportunity for more people to get involved. Allies or people who identify with the group's identity focus. So yeah, I think that if there's any way to get out the word about DJM, like even this opportunity has been really helpful.
Chair Damon?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tess, so much just for your time and that wonderful explanation. But also, I'm very encouraged by what Disability Justice at Michigan, has been able to continue to do. And, it's just very encouraging to hear and see. I'm very, very glad that you had the opportunity to connect with Judy Human and hear her kind words, I have to say, for the brief time that I did connect with her and meet her in person. It was a phenomenal experience. I also wanted to recommend the Society for Healthcare Professionals with Disabilities. You can reach them by going to disabilitysociety.org. that might also be a great resource for you. They're sort of a social enterprise that was developed to provide free resources and support for individuals with disabilities who do work in the healthcare industry. So this includes physicians, pharmaceuticals, nurses, as you mentioned, MPs and PAs, and others. And they also welcome students as well.
Thank you so much for that resource.
Absolutely. And then also just wanted to, yeah, just say thank you. And, hopefully you can definitely keep us in the loop and, as a colleague for DJAM as you guys move forward. And yeah, please keep us in the loop on that March event. Hopefully some commissioners can make it out, but also as you have other fun events, loop, with the university as well.
Of course, of course. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions for Tess at this time?
I just wanted to say thank you so much, Tessa, for the presentation. And I am on the Provost Advisory Committee for Disability. So it would be really great to get your name just in front of the provost and update them on kind of the work that you're doing. So I've noted down your details, but thank you for the great work. And I'll make sure to uplift it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Packer, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I do. Just wanted to say also, I really appreciate what you're doing. I have to be a nurse who became disabled while on the job. I mean, not during my shift, but just something that happened to me 3 years ago. I became legally blind in the midst of being a nurse there. And so I understand some of the challenges. I really appreciate what your group does. Who is eligible to be members there? And feel free, anything we can do to help promote your cause further.
Yeah. So DGM is affiliated with the School of Nursing through our events, and they're very supportive of us, but we're not technically affiliated with the university through like the SSO process. I'm not sure what it stands for, but I do know that there's different levels of groups. So we're open to anybody who is, willing to participate and who, like I said, we've had people who are like someone's grandparents started coming because they were interested in the topic of when we did deinstitutionalization because they had lived through some of that time. So we're really open to anyone who's like respectful of the rules of the school, of course, when we have like school events. But yeah.
Good.
We have a Google Classroom and we have an Instagram where we post all of our information about events. So if anybody is interested, please email me and I can add you to that. Or if you want to follow our Instagram, it's just Disability Justice at Michigan. It'll pop up.
Excellent. Thank you.
Outstanding. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, one more hand there, Commissioner Mozak.
Sorry, I snuck that in at the last minute. Tess, have you ever done any work with the Council for Disability Concerns out of the University of Michigan? I can't speak directly for them. I'm a member, but I'm thinking that this presentation that you provided might be something they may be very interested in hearing.
Yeah, so I worked with Dr. Remy Ergo, who was part of the Council for Disability Concerns for a long time. They just moved to a different university, but I've only been connected through that way. And I know that they were, notified and part of sort of like the spreading the anthology. But yeah, I can definitely connect with them further, and I appreciate that. As I've entered my senior year and I'm figuring things out, some things definitely have gone by the wayside, so it's perfect to be reminded.
Thank you for
Yeah, and either, I can definitely, if you need anything to sort of, work through those connections and get them more streamlined, reach out to me, Tess. I'm happy to connect you directly with them. All right. Well, thank you so much for that presentation. I'd like to move on to our next presentation of the meeting, which is the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Print Disabled with Katie Monkevich. Katie, welcome.
Thank you so much, Zach. It's great to be here as usual. I just have a couple of things to share with you today. I've got some upcoming events that are coming to the library. We have the A20 Sustainability Forum. The topic for this forum is circular innovation in Ann Arbor's food and beverage sectors. This is going to be on Wednesday, February 26th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the downtown library on the 4th floor. Anyone who has been to Ann Arbor knows just how extraordinary its food and beverage scene is. In addition to providing wonderful products to residents and visitors, many local food and beverage businesses are adopting sustainable practices to reduce their environmental impact. Come join us for the second season of the 2025 Sustainability Forum series to learn about the work Ann Arbor's Office of Sustainability is doing to advance sustainability within the local food business community, as well as hear from the local food entrepreneurs who are reducing landfill waste and advancing a more circular, regenerative food system. We also have one coming up that I'm pretty excited at. I will be helping host this one. This is called Mind Games Trivia. This is going to be on Friday, March 7th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. and this will be at our Pittsfield branch. This is for people who love trivia but don't like to go out at night. We've got the perfect game for you. Join us for this entertaining multimedia trivia event where you'll compete in 4 rounds of trivia to win snazzy AADL swag and bragging rights. To let you know about some of the materials that are available, all Washtenaw Library for the Blind patrons can order their books on digital cartridge by giving us a call at 734-327-4224, or you can email us at wlbpd@aadl.org. And you can always sign up also for the Braille audio reading download service called Bard, and that's where you can download your own books. You can do that on a PC or you can do it on your personal device. You just need to be a member of the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. Then visit the website nlsbard.loc.gov or just give us a call at the number I mentioned before, and we can assist you with that application over the phone. So here's a couple of books that you can newly find on Bard. The first one is called Authentic Happiness, The Essential Guide to Being Truly Happy. Discover useful ways on how to live a life full of true and authentic happiness by Gerard Pilar. Everyone aspires to be happy. You would be hard-pressed to find someone who will say he doesn't want to be happy and fulfilled in his life. Happiness has a lot of benefits it can bring to our lives. Studies show that happiness is good for our health because it protects your immune system, protects your heart, and fights away stress. Some studies show happiness can actually alleviate pain. This book will help you find that happiness inside you. It will help you discover yourself and find your purpose so you can learn the meaning of happiness. It is impossible to feel truly happy all of the time because there are problems we do encounter and unavoidable difficult circumstances we face that are all part of life. But if we choose to be happy, there is no reason not to find that happiness. And the second one is called Smelling to Survive: The Amazing World of Our Sense of Smell by B.S. Hansen. Smell is arguably the least understood sense, yet it has always been a vital component of the human experience and that of all living creatures. It can be used to warn, to attract, to identify, to navigate, and even to mislead. Hansen explains some of these fascinating processes. He explores how the past would have smelt quite different to our ancestors and how future technologies will further change the world of sense. And that is all that I have for you all today. Does anybody have any questions, comments, things to say about the library?
I mean, I just want to say, Katie, nothing smells fishy about that last title at all.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah. No, really great stuff, and very exciting. I mean, the A20, event coming up at the AADL, especially in our wonderful restaurant business. I think it'll be very interesting to hear about the sustainability there. And then, yes, your trivia event. Come on, folks, get out there, do some great trivia. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Any
very
questions?
welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Any questions for Katie at this time? Right. Doesn't look like it. So
Well, we hope to see you out at the library. And if not, I will see you next month. You all have a great meeting.
Thank you so much, Katie, and thank you for all that the Ann Arbor District Library does for our community. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
All right, next we have the Disability Network Washtenaw Monroe Livingston report with Andrea Henry. Good afternoon, Andrea.
Good afternoon. I have a few events to share with you this afternoon. Delishability Winter 2025. Are you interested in growing your culinary skills? Want to be the next top chef? Or just want to get out of the house and have some fun? Join us at any experience level for hands-on cooking classes. You'll learn cooking skills, healthy eating habits. The classes will focus on developing a variety of cooking skills and applying them to specific recipes with a main focus on side dishes. Share with your fellow chefs in training. That's taking place currently on Wednesdays in our Ann Arbor location from 12:30 to 2 p.m. Ages 14 plus welcome, and it is a $5 fee per class for ingredients and whatnot. Spring Fling Dance. The weather may be frosty right now, but soon enough spring will be in bloom. Join us for groovy tunes and funky dance moves at Disability Network Washtenaw in our Ann Arbor office on Friday, March 14th. Dance, meet new people, and have fun. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. Again, ages 14 plus. It's free to attend. Registration is required and is open until March 10th. We have a Spring Arts Expo coming in April. Join us for an unforgettable evening at Disability Network Ann Arbor office, where we'll bring together a dynamic blend of visual art, literature, theater, and dance in one vibrant celebration of creativity. Come be a part of this interactive and inclusive experience that celebrates the richness of the arts in all forms. That is Thursday, April 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. At the Gallery B at Disability Network's Washtenaw office. Free to attend. Coming at the end of April is the Nothing About Us Without Us Film Festival. The Disability Network Washtenaw Monroe Livingston, in collaboration with Disability Network Southwest, is hosting the 5th annual Nothing About Us Without Us virtual film festival on Wednesday, April 23rd and Thursday, April 24th. More details to come as that event gets a little closer. And finally, I know it's the middle of February, but save the date for our annual Americans with Disabilities Act celebration happening this summer on Saturday, July 26th at our Washtenaw location from noon to 5. Free food, fun activities, speakers, community resources, all kinds of good stuff happening at that. So save the date for that with more thoughts and more information to come as that also gets a little closer. These events and more can be found on our website calendar at dnwml.org, or you can call our office at 734-971-0277, or send us an email at info@dnwml.org. That is what I have for everyone today, unless anybody has any questions.
No question, just a comment. Thank you so much, Andrea, to you and all the staff at the Disability Network, Washtenaw Monroe Livingston. Very excited for that July ADA event. It's always a great time. You guys always do a great job. And of course, you know, it's great to be able to support, you know, I think upcoming, the 35th anniversary of the ADA in 5, as it was passed in 1990. But yeah, very, very exciting for that. And then, of course, you guys, I'm a bit impartial, but the Nothing About Us Without Us Film Festival there amazing event. It is virtual, correct, Andrea?
Correct. It is virtual. I don't yet have a listing of films and activities, but I'm sure that will be coming for me to be able to share at next month's meeting. I know submission deadline just closed at the end of last week, so I'm sure that's all being put together as I speak here now. So I'll have more information for that event at next month's meeting.
Perfect, absolutely. Any questions or comments for, excuse me, Andrea at this time? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to our next report, we have the Partners in Access Committee with Larry Keeler. Larry?
And we had no meeting this month. I had some things that needed to be done on that Thursday, and I didn't have anyone. Our committee traditionally only has one or two people show up, so I didn't hear from anyone else that was planning to attend, and I thought it's going to be difficult for one person to chair it if they're the only one there, so I canceled, but we'll have our next meeting on the 13th of next month. I have nothing going on, so I will be there, and whoever wants to show up, we've got a few things we can chase down and discuss, so like to hear your voices on Thursday the 13th of next month.
All right. I did have a, quick question for Partners and Access Subcommittee members, if I may. Because we had talked, I think, last month about Commissioner Ankenbauer, following up with the Michigan, seeing if they were still on for doing a disability centered program there. I also did email them, you guys, just to kind of follow up on that, but I did not hear anything. Do we kind of know the status? I know that they're very busy and they have a bunch of other programs that they're launching, but I was just kind of wondering if there was, any update on that.
Oh, this is Commissioner Ankenbauer. I don't have an update on that. I also reached out. I think it maybe also has to do with the Michigan Theater getting a new CEO. Maybe they're like getting up to speed and that kind of thing. But I could send another email. And then when I did actually go into the Michigan Theater as well, and who we were talking to, Nick, wasn't there. So I'm sorry to say I don't have any further information.
No worries. Sam, if you do reach out or end up emailing, please feel free to CC me. I'd love to just, be kept in the loop there and see if we can. Obviously, no pressure. And like you said, we know that they're transitioning to kind of a new CEO, new administration there. But it'd be great to kind of revisit it, I think, especially, as the ADA anniversary continues to near in the summer months. So thank you.
I do have a question.
All right, Larry, we might have answers.
Well, you might, but my question was going to be to the Partners in Access. I was going to check, but apparently I had heard nothing. The elevator at the Arc has been broken for a while, and I should probably call it, but if anybody knows, has it been fixed down there? I had forgotten, I only went to the Arc once before, and I had forgotten that there's a big old staircase up there. And I could imagine people going up that thing, and a lot of people couldn't make it, so I was wondering if that was fixed yet, or if I should just check that out before the next meeting and make sure.
Great question, Larry. So first of all, the last time I was there was right before Christmas, and the elevator seemed to be working. Do you know the time frame of which you visited the facility and the elevator?
Oh yeah, I was there on the 18th of January. I was seeing Haywood Banks down there.
Okay.
And they said it was going to still take a little bit of time to fix it. So yeah.
Okay. If you like, I can follow up and CC you on correspondence with the ARC, and we can double check on that. I recently, actually, there's a colleague, that I just came across, and she works in the profession of elevator maintenance. I'll just say that, and she's from Ann Arbor, and is a very very great resource. So I can help follow up on that with you, Larry, if you'd like.
Okay, well, thank you. That would be nice to address that and say, oh, we got it's all taken care of.
Yeah,
and I can call the ARC too. I just wondered before I did if
yeah, I
you
would
guys
say
had any information.
Yeah, I would say maybe we can send just a nice email just wondering if the elevator situation has been resolved, and if they get back to us and say that it is not, that we're working on it, then I can provide them additional resource to this particular colleague that I'm speaking of to potentially get the right resources in place to get that fixed as soon as possible. To my knowledge, when I was talking to that particular individual about elevators and the issues that were with the state theater last year, they had said it's just mainly about maintenance, making sure that the elevator themselves, that the maintenance is kept up. The only, caveat to that is that maintenance is expensive. But, it's one of those things where, you lose income to a facility and to a business if your elevators are not working. So in the long run, it actually costs you more by not maintaining the maintenance of the elevator. So
true enough.
but thank you, Larry. I'm really glad that you let me know of that, and I'll help follow up with you. Anything else for Partners in Access? Okay, nothing for Partners in Access. I would like to go to community engagement, but Kennedy, I don't believe we have Commissioner Hawkins on with us today.
Yep, Commissioner Hawkins is not here.
Okay, thank you. So Larry, don't go anywhere because it's your turn for recruiting activity.
Oh, that's going to be a quick one. I've heard nothing. I've seen no applications. I've heard nothing, and well, I haven't been running around out in the cold, so I haven't met anybody to let them know either. So at current, there's nothing going on, and I don't think we have any. I think we're a full commission at this point, but I know that a lot of us are getting reapplication announcements, and actually, Kennedy, I'll probably email you for some help on mine because for some reason I'm not getting it. It won't let me submit it, and it's all filled out. So there's that.
All right. Thank you, Larry. And there's this guy that has the exact same name as you that needs to give the report for the Transportation Commission update. So do you mind reaching out to him real quick?
Well, I don't know where he lives. You might have to wait. Okay, so the report on the Transportation Commission, we changed leadership, but we got a new vice chair and chair. And believe it or not, I didn't get their names because something made a noise, and I didn't get their names, and I didn't get them to repeat. But so we also, but they were approved as chair and vice chair, and so was our annual report. That was approved, and we're supposed to get some money eventually for things like APSs and how they work, and and to install more of them. Oh yeah, somebody was presenting on APSs and how they communicate with, and how people would communicate with the city to help get the crosswalks and roads and driveways, because what they want to do is they're trying to they're setting criteria for APSs, like is it, and they're supposed to present soon on how what exactly their requirements are going to be to put an APS in, or a light, or a hawk system, or whatever. There's different criteria as far as how busy or how not busy an intersection or a crosswalk is. And there's going to be something like there's going to be money coming in from the state for allocated for local items. You know, like for the speed, lowering speed limits. Also to work with MDOT to further along crosswalk and other sidewalk issues. So, you know, we're getting a lot of money that we can use for repair. And I also saw that Governor Whitmer was putting up a road funding thing too. And we're going to yet see how that falls out. We'll probably talk about that one this evening. And I see there's also funding for more projects coming up, and there's going to be lots of West Side and U of M crosswalk construction. Also some water mains put in and towards downtown, and more bike lanes put in, and the capital improvement plan passed. And on that, the last two things, we have a meeting tonight at 7, and that can be accessed on CTN, Channel 16. If you have the Comcast, I don't know what it is if you don't, but it's at CTN. And also, one of those streets, and I'm probably going to hear more about it, is my street, Commerce. They're going to close it for a week. I just saw it in M Live because they're working on putting in a lot of lines for the new 250 unit housing complex they're putting in. So that's it for that.
All right. Thank you, Larry. And thank you for all your work on the Transportation Commission. Next, I would like to move on to the University of Michigan Council for Disability Concerns meeting update with Commissioner Solomon. Matthew, the floor is yours.
I must offer the commission a double apology. One, that I was unable to attend the meeting last week due to a schedule conflict, and two, that I need to log off shortly in order to be at another engagement. So I may be able to provide some notes later, but I was not present at the meeting and therefore cannot report on what took place. My apologies.
No problem, Commissioner Solomon. You balanced quite a bit. We do appreciate your efforts, absolutely. And yeah, please feel free whenever you have to depart. Please feel free. Next, we have the City Personnel Report with Kennedy.
Hi, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well and staying warm. As of right now, I don't have any personnel updates. As always, if you need any help or assistance on anything, please let me know. I know some of the commissioners have received their reappointment email from me. Larry, I'm happy to assist you with yours. If you've been contacted and you need assistance with your reappointment application, please let me know. But the deadline for reappointment is March 3rd. So you have until March to let me know if you plan to do reappointment on the commission. If not, we will.
Sure that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'll ask you when you're done.
Yep, so the deadline is March 3rd. That's the correct deadline to let me know if you want to do reappointment. And if for some reason you do not want to do it, please just send me an email notifying me, letting me know that you plan to end your term when your term expires. And then I will let the clerk office know. And I believe that's all I have for you all. Larry, you had a question?
Yeah, I thought my email, I have to look at it again, but I thought it said March 6th.
I'll double check. No,
I'll try to have it well done before then, but I thought it said March 6th.
Okay. Yeah, we can just shoot me an email or call, and I'm happy to assist you to get yours submitted before then.
Okay, I'll probably do that Friday.
Okay, sounds good. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Kennedy. And yeah, to all who received reappointment letters, yeah, hopefully you would want to continue the work and be reappointed. We're at the point for the chair report. I will do my best to be brief. There were some great events that came up. I know in our presentation period, we did have somebody talk about the University of Michigan wheelchair basketball game. I also did have an opportunity to attend. I hope other commissioners did as well. Really well attended, actually. And the University of Michigan wheelchair basketball team and the Adaptive Sports and Fitness program, I'm very, very proud to report that they actually set a record for attendance for a single wheelchair basketball game anywhere in America. So, other than the Paralympic Games, largest attended wheelchair basketball game to date. So very, very proud of everything that the University of Michigan Adaptive Sports and Fitness Program has done. And it is just great to see all the things that they're doing and how they continue to build. Absolutely. And by the way, Michigan did beat Michigan State. And so absolutely. So that was a great event. And then I did have an opportunity to attend. There was another fundraiser for Mott Children's Hospital yesterday at Cliff Keen Arena, right next to Yost Ice Arena for University of Michigan student athletes. They have the Mock Rock every year this time of year. They hosted the 26th annual Mock Rock to raise funds for CS Mott Children's Hospital here at the university. And so they also did really well. They hit their $40,000 goal. And knowing how busy and strenuous all U of M students are, but then of course, being a student athlete and attending practice in addition to meeting the academic demands of the best public university in the country, I was very impressed with all of their organization, and then the performances of the student athletes were hilarious as well. And hopefully all of us can attend that event next year as well. Other than that, that is all that I have, really. I was just going to reiterate that I hope all of us can make the Nothing About Us Without Us virtual film festival April 23rd and 24th. I hope all of us can have a good, strong presence there. They really do some great dialogue and some great group discussions on a lot of the screenings, and then there's some great Q&A with a lot of the filmmakers as well. So I find it very enriching, and I hope that all of us can have that on our calendar, as well as the ADA celebration in July 26th at the Disability Network, Washington, Monroe, Livingston. That is my chair report. Thank you very much for that. Moving on, Kennedy, do we have any old business?
At this time, we do not have any old business. Is there any commissioner who has any old business at this time? There's no old business.
Thank you, Kennedy. Next, we can move on to new business. Is there any new business that commissioners would like to bring forward at this time? Okay. Oh, one
Commissioner
hand.
Packard?
Yeah.
Yes, this is just since it sounds like we're approaching the end of the meeting, and I know we've discussed this before, but in future meetings, if anyone somehow maybe wants to find a location, for example, the library or a coffee shop or just someplace, if we want to keep it Zoom, but have a place where we can mix that into a place to be in person if we like, that's just something I thought I'd throw out. I know we've talked about it before, and good opportunity potentially to talk about. For example, I know we've talked about a Facebook and Instagram page, and might be easier to put our heads somehow on while we're all together in the same place. Whether we propose something now or in maybe an email prior to our next meeting, I thought I'd throw that out there.
So, Rob, just to clarify, you were speaking on, I guess, two different points. One is the possibility of a hybrid CODI meeting kind of going forward. And I can tell you that, yeah, there's definitely a possibility for hybrid meetings. Typically, we host meetings out of the city council chambers there to be able to discuss like official, city government business. So it's kind of difficult to, I mean, I'd love to meet at a coffee shop as well socially, and I think we can do that. But I think in terms of official like commission business, it's best to do it like kind of at the council chambers, but I'm open to your idea of a hybrid meeting, as long as the commission sees that as an accessible and viable option going forward. And so, I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts. We can talk a little bit about it now, and we can also talk about it at a future meeting. Would a hybrid meeting, interest commissioners to where we do come to city council chambers, but then for those that are not able to make it, we still have a option for them to join on Zoom. Is that something that the commission would be interested in?
I'll just mention that it does seem to work for the LAC. Some of us meet down in at the AATA building on South Industrial, and it does seem to work, but it's still not quite the same as in person. And I would wonder if we wouldn't just want to not necessarily have commission business, but maybe this spring or summer just the commission meet and just sort of have fun and get to know each other, because some of y'all I've never seen in person. I wouldn't mind just having instead of a hybrid meeting, just a gathering in the spring or summer where we got down and had something to eat somewhere and just improved the camaraderie of the commission by getting to know people that we've always heard about or heard from.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds, I don't see that as an either or, but I think that's a great idea. In addition, Larry, I appreciate that.
No, that wasn't an either or with two separate points.
Yeah, that's great. And I agree with you, Zach, that the commission, that sounds very appropriate and be something to.
And then really quickly, Commissioner Packard, on your second point of social media, I just want to acknowledge Commissioner Chambers. Thank you for being attentive to that. And I just wanted to acknowledge that, Commissioner Chambers, I did receive your email, and I will be replying to that very soon. And so that lag on that, commissioners, is on me. So I will get a hold of those commissioners interested to start the social media of the Facebook and Instagram and all that, and we can go forward. I've just been a little bit behind on that, and I do apologize, but I will follow up before the end of the week to kind of get that moving.
Oh yeah, no worries. I just wanted to make sure I understood what was going on and what the next steps were. So thank you so much for that.
Sure, absolutely.
And one other thing I've got to put in as far as hybrid meetings, I wouldn't mind them, but I'd hate to have like 2 or 3 people show up in the council chambers and the rest on the Zoom meeting, because it seemed like reserving the room for the meeting and having like 2 or 3 people there and the rest out. That would seem just to be a little strange.
Yeah, I think we had ended up, I think every year we kind of revisit this and we say, hey, is it more conducive, physically, and for a lot of individuals who, have difficulty navigating the seasons and transit, is it more accessible to do it through Zoom, or do we want to go back to chambers? And, I think the consensus, Kennedy, per our last discussion and vote was that, doing it virtually was accessible. But I feel all of you. I feel the need for that human connection, and I feel the need for doing something in person. So I definitely believe that a Kodai picnic or a Kodai gathering in person could be a possibility. Kennedy, I would have to talk to you about that and some others to see how we could arrange that. But I think that's definitely a possibility. But as far as hybrid meetings, it's really up to all of you and what all of you are comfortable with in terms of, the accessibility standpoint, because I would like everyone to be able to fully attend. And so far, it's just been working out virtually where that's where everyone is able to fully participate. So does that answer your question, Larry?
Yeah, and it's not been unheard of not to do a commission event without former commission without commission business. I remember somewhere between 2011 and 2013 we did one way back, which was kind of successful. So
Okay. Well, we can definitely visit that. Any new business at this time? Oh, Kathleen.
Actually, I just wanted to expound on this conversation real quick. Number one, the only concern I would have, I heard Larry said that it's been done before, but I would be worried about the Open Meetings Act and quorum. If we're all going to be together, what would that look like? So if Kennedy could investigate that further. And then I'm wondering, if there is interest, could Kennedy run maybe a doodle poll to the commissioners saying, are you interested in in-person or hybrid or whatever? And then that way, commissioners could do it in the privacy of their home, take a minute to really think about it, and then all the data could be collated rather than trying to figure it out online. It might be harder to do like when we're all speaking at once. So maybe a doodle poll could be done. I don't know. That's just a suggestion.
Sure. No, I appreciate those perspectives, Kathleen, and I appreciate that suggestion. Absolutely. I think, I don't speak for you, Kennedy, but hopefully we can talk about that. And, maybe that's something to be done, Kennedy, hopefully. But we can talk about that as well.
Yeah. And you're right, Zach. I did kind of shoehorn in talking about social media, and I think that my point, I guess, was that projects, things like that, would be maybe more conducive to be able to move forward if there's a group of people in the same room together to work on something that we might need to. But definitely, I think that always moving forward, having a Zoom feature so it's never a requirement makes a lot of sense, especially with this group that has. It's not always easy in the elements to get to a place, but thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Any other additional new business or comments? All right. Next, do we have any communications, Kennedy?
At this time, we have no communications listed on the agenda. Is there any commissioner who has any communications to share with the commission? Seeing none, we have no communication.
All right. Well, then at this time on February 19th at 5:19 p.m. Eastern Time, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
All right, Larry moves to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, Rosanita seconds. All in favor of adjourning today on February 19th at 5:19 p.m. Eastern Time, please unmute and say aye.
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 All right.
And watch the basketball game Friday and go green.
Hey. Well, thank you so much.
That's a big basketball game.
Thank you so much, Larry. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to CTN and the city, and we will see you next month.